watched, Barbie, what went before Capitol Hill today, and let's just say the shade, the pettiness, I was fully there for.
I'm glad Secretary Noem is finally testifying before the committee. After all, it's been 3 months since I sent you a letter asking for her to testify on the Trump administration's dismantling of the Department of Homeland Security and its harmful effects on communities across the country. Secretary Noem, I guess the chairman didn't think systematically dismantling the Department of Homeland Security, firing the federal workers who keep us safe, and violating the Constitution of the United States justified your timely appearance before this committee. But when Donald Trump demanded that Congress hand him money to do more damage to our Homeland Security, Republicans bent over backwards to help him and his billionaire friends at the expense of the American people. Whatever got you here, Secretary Noem, I'm glad you found time among your many photo ops and costume changes to testify about why President Trump is seeking more taxpayer dollars and what you plan to do with that money if you get it.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. You have an important job. I think you have one of the most important jobs in the cabinet. Thank you for doing it. I want you to have credibility and be taken seriously as you do the job. And so I want to put to rest this question about Mr. Garcia in this photo that the president posted on April 21. Madam Secretary, you agree that the letters MS and the number 13 in Times Roman numeral font, that they are doctored on this photo, right?
Congressman Abrego Garcia.
No, I'm just asking about this photo.
It wasn't based off of tattoos. It was based off an entire case.
And I'll accept that
case against him.
For the purpose of this question. You agree, though, that this is doctored. Is that right?
The same protocols that are
Madam
applied
Secretary,
to every
I want you to have credibility, and I want you to be taken seriously. Is this doctored or is it not doctored?
I am taken quite seriously.
Is it doctored or not doctored?
With the importance that the president has given me to do
I understand. Is it doctored or not doctored?
One thing that's important to remember is that every single time a case is built.
Madam Secretary, I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. I have a bullshit detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
Sir, the protocols in the case built against
Can you
Abrego
answer the
Garcia
question?
Were exactly the same.
Madam Secretary,
I don't have any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to.
Okay, can you
show
her the photo? Walk her the photo down there. No, that one. Please take a look at this photo. It was tweeted by the president on April 21. It's been hanging out there for about a month.
So what is your point?
My question is the numbers and the letter MS-13. Could you look at the photo, please? It's right in front of you.
Are you saying Abrego Garcia is not a wife beater?
No, ma'am.
That he's not a criminal. He's not a human trafficker. And he's not a member of MS-13.
You vouched for Mr. Garcia when your team said, ma'am, you vouched for him when you said he was mistakenly deported.
Sir,
I didn't vouch for him.
I did not say that. He should have been deported. Absolutely.
It's so telling that you won't look at the photo.
And we will not be bringing
Was
him back
it
to
doctored or not?
In staying here, if
can you
he
look
comes
to
back
your
to the
right
country,
at the photo in front of
right
you?
away.
Madam Secretary, can you look to the right at the photo in front of you?
I have seen this photo as you held it behind your head.
Thank you. And the letters MS and the numbers 13, are those doctored or not?
Testimony today is on a doctored photo. You don't want to talk about the facts.
Okay.
The importance of our national security.
You acknowledge it was doctored.
To make sure that the United States is protected.
Madam Secretary, this is not a hard question. Are those doctored or not?
Sir,
is that actually on his hand or not?
This is unbelievable to me that you're focused.
It's unbelievable to me that you can't look at the photo and tell the American people.
I looked at the photo, but I don't have any knowledge as to this photo.
Okay, so it's been hanging out there for 4 weeks. You are one of the chief law enforcement officials in the country. What have you done to investigate whether the president misrepresented the reason that that person has been detained?
Sir,
have you done anything to try and figure out whether that was doctored or not?
The mission of the Department of Homeland Security is to secure our nation and to make sure that we're out there going after those that are the worst of the worst, the criminals, the bad actors. Abrego Garcia.
So the answer is you've done nothing to correct the president.
Member of MS-13, a wife beater and a human trafficker that should never have been in this country to begin with.
So, Madam Secretary, thank you, Mr. Burnett.
appropriately if the Supreme Court has ruled 9-0 that he hasn't been treated appropriately? Why is your opinion better and have more authority than the Supreme Court?
Investigators, 2 judges, an immigration court that all said he was MS-13 and was removed from this country.
But you understand, that is you saying that. That is you saying that.
That is them saying that. This
no.
investigators and law
that is
enforcement
you
officers
making that
in the case they
determination
built against him. If you don't
the
trust our law
court
enforcement
has considered all that. The judge has considered all that, Madam Secretary.
And if you would be
quiet, because I'm reclaiming my time, you are not following this court order. But let's focus on the court order, because this opinion also says that to facilitate, which the Supreme Court is requiring, is an active verb. It requires that steps be taken. What steps have you taken to return Mr. Abrego Garcia to allow him to get due process?
Abrego Garcia is in his home country.
What steps have you taken?
If your continued advocacy for him were to...
I'm not advocating for him. I'm advocating for a court order, Madam Secretary. The court order says that you must take steps to follow the court order. You are here under oath. What steps have you taken to return Mr. Abrego Garcia pursuant to this court order?
It's got to be extremely discouraging to be one of your constituents. To see you fight for a terrorist like this and not fight for them is extremely alarming to me.
I'm fighting for due process, and that's under the Constitution.
Gentleman's time has expired.
For due process.
You refer to foreign terrorist organizations. You refer to aliens who are affiliated with foreign terrorism. You refer to arrests of suspected gang members. Not once do you mention the term domestic terrorism, domestic terrorist, or lone wolf. There's a gaping hole in your testimony today. You fail to reassure this committee or the American people that you'll protect the homeland from bad actors, radicalized right here in the U.S., like the gunman who opened fire on my community 3 years ago today. There's been a systematic, intentional effort by your department and this administration since January 20th to ignore the very real threat posed by domestic terrorism.
A little hot there. Here's the reality, Andrew. These thugs refuse to abide by a Supreme Court decision.
Yeah, and, when we look at the fact that he was forbidden from going to that country and that she...
Actually, we're losing your signal, so let me go to Nyambe. Nyambe?
Yeah, look, I think this is what happens in this administration. Everybody here is for Donald Trump's comfort, not for the rule of law. And it's one of those moments where we have to recognize the call is coming from inside the House. The biggest threats to our democracy are not the Abrego Garcias of the world, are the folks like Kristi Noem who will willingly and regularly disobey the oath they took to the people of the United States and to defending the United States Constitution. The rule of law should be paramount, but so many of people in this go-round of this administration are spending their time being sycophants and loyalists to Donald Trump that they could care less. This is what is, I think, driving so many people away from this presidency. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is a shoo-in for Democrats, but what it does mean is many of those people who took a chance, who thought that what Donald Trump was saying about immigration, about the economy, would actually come to pass and they would see their lives bettered, recognize that these are just moves to basically dismantle a legal system that will allow anyone, including Americans, civil rights and civil liberties to be trampled on by this administration. And Kristi Noem, we know this woman who is, by her own admission, killed a puppy, doesn't care about people. She could not care less. Otherwise, you wouldn't show up in a prison in another country with a Rolex on while people are being dehumanized and have had their characters assassinated by no other word but your own in this administration. And this is the kind of stuff that really upsets people. And upset is, of course, putting it mildly, but is letting this government's hypocrisy be on full display. This among many other things, right? Because while we're importing Afrikaners from South Africa, we are deporting people who have a right to be here and who are owed an opportunity to defend themselves in a legal setting. And Kristi Noem is just, again, another long list of people who have signed up and signed away their own integrity in the name of this administration.
Absolutely. Rebecca?
I'm glad Niambi said it. Yeah, she's a puppy killer because she couldn't figure out how to properly train her puppy, so she decided to shoot it. That's simply ridiculous, and so is her approach in this administration. For those of you all who have been inside the airports recently, you see the Kristi Noem Ice Barbie posters as you're going through security, and it's simply ridiculous. There are serious issues in this country. There are serious Homeland Security issues in this country, but unfortunately, the secretary is not a serious person to deal with it. She's more concerned with aesthetics than the actual substance of what's needed in this country. And that's very unfortunate.
Is Andrew signal better?
Yeah. So Roland, the biggest issue that I have is how she's playing in everyone's face as though they're not going into the court and arguing something completely different. They're not arguing that he's an MS-13 gang member. They're not arguing that he's a domestic abuser. What they're arguing is that, because we already deported him, there's nothing that we can do. So it's a mistake. It's an administrative error. So we're just going to let it go. And then she's going into these congressional hearings and flat out lying about what the government's position is before the court. And they absolutely can take those steps to try to bring him back. They just don't want to do it.
Well, absolutely. Bottom line is we're dealing with an absolutely corrupt White House. And I'm all for Kristi Noem getting jacked up. I'm going to play some more Congressman Bennie Thompson laying into her. Go ahead and play it.
To you or to the president for the last declaration, and it's taken an inordinate amount of time, more than normal. I just want to know, is that inordinate amount of time is based on some plan that you have knowledge of? But if it's not in writing, I understand. So you talked about the rule of law. Are you telling the committee that due process for anybody that's picked up in this country should not be followed?
Congressman, we have utilized due process as it is laid out in the tools that Congress has given us. We have followed the tools and the processes to which Congress has given us to give due process to people appropriately as it is due.
So your testimony to this committee under oath is that everybody that ICE has picked up in this country has been given every opportunity as Section 5 under the Constitution provides.
Correct. I believe everybody has gotten due process and every person has been treated appropriately according to the civil or the criminal action to which they were encountering individuals and brought into our detainment and then also removed from this country.
So your answer is yes.
The tools that you have given us as this
I'm
body
talking about the
for due process
Constitution of the United States. I'm not talking about tools. The Constitution is clear.
Correct. And
your testimony under oath to this committee is that everybody that ICE has picked up and any other agency of DHS has conformed to those statutes.
for example, Congressman, expedited
yes or no? No, I don't need an example.
Expedited removal is one of the
Madam
tools
Secretary,
that you have given us to utilize as due process.
I just need a yes or no.
Sir, that is the due process tool that you have given us to utilize that has been appropriately.
So obviously,
Gentleman's time has expired.
Y'all, Ice Barbie is a damn joke. That's what she is. All right.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.